Very good morning to all. I take this opportunity to invite for this consecutive program named STEM 4.0. So in this session, to enlighten this, we get two young minds from our institution. Mr. Divesh belongs to class of 2016, who belongs to Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and Ms. Subiksha from second year, Department of IT. So I take this opportunity to invite these two young minds. Let's have an introduction about these two young minds. Mr. Divesh, having a crispy knowledge in web development and web designing, he served for this society, especially to our Tiruvannamalai district, by developing projects which crucially needed in the time of Deepam festival, by joining hands with Department of Police, Tiruvannamalai district. He also having experience to operate the UAV vehicle, which we called as drone. So he is having a wide knowledge in operating the drone, which is crucially needed in the festival time of Deepam in Tiruvannamalai. So on behalf of our institution and department, I once again invite Mr. Divesh. Consecutive sessions will be handled by Ms. Subiksha, second year from the Department of IT. She attended workshop on the topics of artificial intelligence, which is conducted by IIM Bangalore, and she also having developed an application which is a replica of WhatsApp. She also completed the 10 days workshop of ethical hacking, a training program which is conducted by Infotech Coimbatore. So on behalf of Department of IT, I also invite Ms. Subiksha to present the consecutive session on the topic of ethical hacking. So I invite now Ms. Divesh to take a topic of smart mapping, which is mostly needed in present situation. So I invite Mr. Divesh to share his presentation.
Thank you so much, sir, for your motivating introduction. It means a lot. Hello everyone, I am Divesh, an engineering graduate. I hope that everyone is keeping safe and healthy. The COVID-19 pandemic situation posed India to several challenges and difficult situations. Further to impart comparable quality education for a diverse group of learners. STEM is one such initiative taken to uplift the insights of the individuals in this pandemic. I would like to convey my regards for this aspiring initiative to Arun Jain College Management, IT Department HOD Dr. Jyotish Kumar Sir and all the contributors in this event for giving us this wonderful opportunity for their support to conduct this webinar and to keep us technically updated. I request the participants to utilize this opportunity and make use of it. To make our time productive, I am going to introduce to yet another interesting technical topic, smart mapping, in today's webinar. In general, when we hear the word mapping or map, the first thing comes to our mind is Google Map, right? I know you all are more familiar with Google Map, but in today's session, we are not discussing Google Map, but it is some other product of Google, which is called Google My Maps. So, in this session, we discuss the outline of Google Maps and also see the difference between Google Maps and My Maps and detail about Google My Maps. Finally, let us see the demo session in which I will show you the live example, which includes how to create a custom map, share and collaborate with others. So, let us start the session. In general, what is Google Maps? Actually, Google Maps is a web mapping service which is developed by Google. It offers satellite imagery, aerial photographies, street maps, 360-degree interactive panoramic views of streets, and real-time traffic conditions and route planning for traveling by foot, car, bicycle, or in air in beta version, and public transportations. This is one statistical report. In 2020, Google Maps was used by over 1 billion people every month. Then what is Google My Maps? Google My Maps is your way to keep track of the places that matter to you. Actually, this My Maps is launched by Google in 2007. Why they launched this Google My Maps in the sense, it is easily make custom maps to remember your favorite places, to explore new cities, or to plan great vacations. Google My Maps is mainly used to make the map your own. It personalizes your custom maps and take them with you anywhere. So now I'm just list out some basic difference between Google Maps and Google My Maps. You can see here, Google Map is used to search locations in desktop or to navigate in app. The basic difference that what I listed here is, first one, more information about a place is given by Google Maps, and it gives directions and real-time traffic data. Real-time traffic data in the sense, while you're searching some places in Google Map, you can see some green lines and red lines in the road, which indicates the traffic, real-time traffic condition. And you can save as favorite in your personal map, and you can view the street views, photos or reviews about the places which you search, and it will show the related places you have searched. For example, we clicked the engineering college, so other engineering colleges were highlighted in the image. You can see that. And it limited 3D viewing similar to Google Earth, including 3D cities. In Google My Maps is intended for you to create your own maps. It has more options on a selected place. You can see that there are something like pencil and image in the one. You next one you can second one is alternate view is satellite view and not Earth view. You can see the point number 2. The alternate view we can see is satellite view. It is not Earth view. And the point 3 indicates the topology base map is available in Google My Maps. So these are the base maps available in Google My Maps, which is not in Google Maps. And it has limited ability to import or export KML file for use with Google Earth. And it will place pins in it or draw a line or 2D shape polygon to display your location data. The fifth point is which differs Google My Maps from Google Maps. You can place the pins or you can draw draw a line or 2D shape polygon, so we can customize our map for our convenience. Google My Maps is used to create a custom map. What is a custom map? Custom map in the sense we can add points or draw shapes anywhere in the map, and we can search the places and to find places and save them to the map. And this one is important. We can instantly make maps from spreadsheets. Google My Maps provides these features for us, which instantly make maps from spreadsheets. And personalize in the sense you can show your styles with icon and colors. You can add photos and videos to any places wherever you want. And once we complete our custom map, we can share and collaborate with friends to see and edit your map or publish them to the whole world. We can easily embed the custom map into our own website or blog. And we can build your map just like a Google Docs by work together. And once we complete it does not need a separate storage space or something like that. It easily organizes all your maps in your Google Drive itself. Custom maps can be viewed in Google Maps mobile apps itself. Once you can visit any custom map, that map will automatically save in your Google Map, so you can find all your maps in your places menu on Google Maps. You can chart your favorite places or explore a new city. You can save maps you find on the web and use them on the go. So I just point out some real-time usage of My Maps here. During COVID-19, that is from December 2019 to April 2020, there were 1 billion more creations, edits and views compared to prior year, with a total of 3 billion interaction in recent months. And several common use cases emerged, including COVID-19 testing sites, food banks where first responders can access healthcare. Using Google My Maps, we can mark the locations of COVID-19 testing sites, or we can mark the food banks, or we can mark childcare places to access by first responders. So we can customize our map whatever we want to do. And other example, second one book publisher in Canada has created a map of indie booksellers in Canada who are offering delivery or curbside pickup. In the Philippines, the Department of Transportation is using My Maps to free up hospital shuttle service routes for COVID-19 medical frontliners. And the National Transit Agency of Ecuador is using My Maps to help truck drivers moving food across the country and find disinfection points, gas stations, mechanics, and to help them on the journey. Other than this, we use my maps in real time for Tiruvannamalai Police Department. That is, me and Dr. Jyotish Kumar sir had worked together and developed a web application, name it as TVM Parking, which is used for online parking reservation for devotees who visit Tiruvannamalai every Purnami in time. In that, we just embed my maps, which contains the location of the parking area, so devotees can easily reach their destination. I will show it now. This is the web application in which we just embed a map using my maps. You can see that. So you can see it here. It shows the location of the parking area, so that it is called a customized map. We can personalize our data, and also we use my maps for 2017 and 2018 accidental report analysis. You can see it here. See, we just develop a map. Using this, we can analyze these are the points where accident occurs in 2017. And these are the points accidents were occurred in 2018. So using this, police personnel can analyze easily in which location more number of accidents occurred and less number of accidents occurred, so that they can find the accident zone easily by using this technology. So let me start our demo session. For starting, to start Google My Maps, we need one Google account. I already signed in. Signed in. To open Google Map, just simply type google.com/mymaps. So before itself, I told, if we access any maps in the web, it will store in your Google Drive. Just now we access TVM or parking map, so it will store in my drive, and also the fatal accident reports. So to create, this is the My Maps portal. To create a new map, just click it, create a new map. So this is called the My Maps, and I will explain. First, we just name it as STEM 4.0, and description something like smart mapping. So you can see it here, undo buttons, redo button, and one and symbol, which is used to move the maps. And you can see the marker icon here. You can see that zoom in, zoom out buttons, and you can see the base map, which we can change the map view whatever we want. And you can see it here, add layer, share, and preview. What is layer? Why we need the add layer? Actually, layer is used to contain multiple number of markers or points or locations, whatever it is. Layer is used to hold the location of the map. So for example, if you want to point somewhere, then we need this layer. How can we point the layer? We can point the layer in three ways. First, we can just simply search engineering college something. It will point the places. So you can see it will come under the suggestion. If you want this point, you can add to map by clicking here or here. So it will add to the layer. We can name it as layer something sample 1, sample points, something like that. And another way of adding point is you can just click the icon wherever you want. You can place the marker. For example, I just place a marker here. So I want this point to add to the layer, then simply I can rename it as and add description, something like that, and I will add it. And another thing you can see is if you click the icon, you can see some options, some styling options, like you can change the colors, and you can change the icons, something like that. In more, if you click more icons here, there are many number of icons available. So you can choose, or else you want custom icon, you can select custom icon from that. So likewise, we can change the icons. And if you want to add image to this icon, you can add image. For example, if I add I select to add image. One second. Yes, you can select from local disk or something, wherever you want. Google Drive. So I simply add image and save. If you want directions, or you don't want this point, you can delete that. Same likewise, and here you can see draw a line, which is used to add driving route or biking route or walking route. For example, if I select add driving route, then it will start a route to driving for a. It will find the location automatically to 2 points wherever we want, or I can choose the one second. So you can select that point and it will find the route for that. So you can so it will find the route. So likewise, you can use it for biking route or walking route. And another one thing, it will shows the step-by-step directions. So like Google Maps show, likewise it will show the step-by-step directions. And just now just I delete this layer. And if you want to add a line or shape, what is a line or shape? In the sense, for example, if I want to draw a line or polygon shape, then I'll use this tool. One second. So for example, I want to draw a line. Just simply I'll draw a line. Or else for example, I want, if I own I have own property, I want to mark that land, then I will simply use this draw a line, and I'll draw a polygon which identify my land. Suppose I have own property, then I'll mark like this, so we can get the polygon of that property. Once we click the polygon, it will give the meters and some dimensions of that area, so it will useful for analyzation. And if we click add layer, it will create a new layer in which you can notice that import. What is import? This is the one advantage in Google My Maps, which is used to import many number of points using a spreadsheet at a time. I'll show the demo. For example, I have one sample spreadsheet. Here I just place it name Aruna Engineering College, Arunajaleshwara Temple, Ramanathan. I just taking the sample locations and the latitude, longitude of that locations. Okay, how can we get this lat and long? In the sense, just open Google My Maps and type Aruna Engineering College. Once you type that, you can find it here in the URL box. You can find the lat and long, or else just click the point somewhere where you want. It will show the lat and long of that location, so you can copy and paste it into the spreadsheet. Once you paste it, you can import into Google My Maps. I'll show it now. So you can select the file from your device. or else we can select a file from Google Drive. So my spreadsheet in Google Drive, so I choose Google Drive. Here you can see that sample sheet 1. So once I click that sample sheet 1, it will ask the lat and longitude column, which indicates the location of that point. So I'll choose the lat and long, which I'll give it in spreadsheet. So once you select that, it will ask to choose a column for title your markers. Title your markers in the sense the name which I want given to that location or point something. So once I choose the name and I'll finish it, so it will automatically import that points. If you don't want this, you can disable it. So now you can see that the 3 points will automatically import to that. So this one facility or this one feature is used in My Maps, which is used in many purpose. We can instantly create a map using these spreadsheets. Okay. Suppose this is 3 points, so I can easily find the lat and long by using Google Maps. I can easily find the lat and long. In case if you have 50 number of rows and 100 number of rows, because here only 3 number of rows, we can easily find. Suppose for example, I'm telling you, if you want to point hundreds of locations or more than 50 hundreds, large amounts means then it will large task, it will big task for us to find the lat and long. So how can we find the lat and long automatically? Yes, we have some add-ons for that. I'll show that. Before import a spreadsheet, I'll take another spreadsheet which I'll create a sample one. This is some tourist places in Ooty. I take a sample of 5 data. If you want, you can take 50 hundreds. But we have address, but we don't know the lat and long. Then we can get the lat and long automatically. I'll show it now. For that, we use one add-ons. I'll show it. Just click it, get add-ons. So in that, search geocode by Awesome Table. So you can select that. It will ask for a session. So install the add-ons. So it will ask for account. If you're not signed in, you just sign in using your Google account. So give permission. So the add-ons will add it to our spreadsheet. So you can see it here: name, address, city, state, pin code, something, whatever. But it is in separate columns. We don't have in single column. So first we just how to get a lat and long for using automatically. We want to start geocoding. By clicking start geocoding, the add-ons will working. So select your sheet, current sheet as sheet 1, and if your address in single column, just choose that particular column. But our address in 1, 2, 3, 4, nearly 5. Okay, so we want to select this or your address in multiple columns. Just click this. Select the check boxes which you want to find, which you want to add as address. So our total address will looking like this. For example, Tea Factory, Dr. Beta Road, Mail Kodamand, Ooty, Tamil Nadu, something like that. Just click insert column. You can see that one new column will come here, full address. You can see one new column is come here with the name full address. So select that column, full address. Sorry. Once you select, just click start geocode. You can see latitude and longitude, new column will come here. It will automatically find the lat and long of that location. So now you get the lat and long. Just close it. Now coming back to my maps, I just now use the spreadsheet to import the points. So this is also in Google Drive. So I choose this Ooty tourist places. So my latitude and longitude is present in this two column. So I click, I check this and click continue. And I want the title as name. So once I select this and click finish. So I'll disable this. So now you can see that points will automatically point to that location, lat and long. So using this, we can easily instantly create a my maps using these spreadsheets. This one advantage is available in Google My Maps. And here you can see that measure distance areas. For what it, in the sense, for example, Taj Mahal. So one second. So here you can see that. So I want to find the distance from this building to this building. Then I'll use this measurable scale. So it is approximately 300 meter. You can see that. For that we can use this measurable or to find some dimensions of some area, some property you have. Then you can use this measurable. So I hope now you can have better knowledge of Google My Maps, that is how to create a custom maps using My Map tools. Here one thing you want to see that we can have customized maps or we can see individual styles. Wait. If I select this, it will show something like that: individual styles, uniform style, sequence of numbers. Once I click the sequence of numbers, it will convert into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the sequence. So we can use this. And another one thing is uniform individual styles, in the sense, for example, I want this as something in orange color, and this one something in some other colors with some other icons. So like that, this is called individual styles. Suppose if it is, I select uniform style, then all icons in same color and same uniform icon. So if I change any one icon, it will affect all other icons. So now you have a better knowledge of Google My Maps, I hope so. This lockdown has been cancelled all our trips which we planned. So in future, if you are planned for a trip, use this My Maps, which is more helpful for planning a trip. Once you complete the My Maps, you can see that share option. Once you click the share option, enable link sharing, it will give us a link. So I just copy this link and you can share to anyone, or you can embed into a website. So My Maps. So I am a owner of this map. So it will come that edit options will show. If you are not the owner, then it will show like this. If you want to embed into website, you want to make this into public. Once you make it as public, you can embed into a website. And another thing, you can see that that if you select public, you can embed into a website using iframe tag. And or else if you want to export to KML is file which is used for map. The KML is the extension which is used for map. We can once export this KML file, we can import to any Google Maps or Google Earth, so that we can analyze this in Google Map or Google Earth. So these are the basics of Google My Maps. I hope now you have a better knowledge in this. I'll already create one sample one. I'll show that. So this one is used to how to plan a trip using My Maps. I'll show it now. For example, if you plan to visit Kerala, for example, these 5 destinations I plan to visit. So I first choose the destinations where all I want to go. I choose the destinations and what are all the activities I want to do in that destination. For example, you can see it here. In Wayanad, I plan to go for Wayanad's Wildlife Sanctuary, and in Munnar, I'll go for Munnar Hill Station. In Kochi, I'll go to Fort Kochi Beach. In Alapura, I plan to go to Alleppey Boat House, and in Trivandrum, I plan to go Trivandrum Zoo. So I just use different layers for different things. So for destinations, I use one layer, and for activities, I use another layer. And accommodation, each place where I want to stay, I just plan that accommodation. So for example, Tranquil Resort in sorry Tranquil Resort in resort in Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. I mean in Wayanad, and in Munnar, I plan to go for LCM Garden Hill Resorts. So likewise, I can plan my destination. So it is easily for us to analyze where we can stay and what is the. For example, if I find that I want to find a direction from my resort to that activity, that means wildlife sanctuary, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, then I can simply press this direction and add the route from A to B. So it will shows the directions exactly, and once you see the step-by-step directions, it's approximately 22 kilometers, 33 minutes of time. And if you're planning to go in different route, then you can simply just drag the direction, it will change the route. Or else I want to go something like this. Whatever you want, you can do this with My Maps. So this is used to customize your directions or customize your map using My Maps. One second. And you can measure the distance. It's not accurate, but it's this approximate. It's around we see 22 kilometers, but it's approximately shows 17 kilometers. So like that, we can use the measure scale, and these are the basics one. So now you can I'll show now you can have a better knowledge to how to plan a trip, or how can we use the Google My Maps, and how can we share it with friends or something like that. So if you want to add collaborators to this, so you want friends to make changes in your map, then you can add them as collaborators. So once you add them as collaborator, they can change and they can share their ideas. So you can easily plan for anything, or you can analyze something like what I told in accident report. You can analyze likewise using My Maps. So once you complete that, you can get the link and share it to anywhere. Once you click the link in your mobile phone, it will merge with Google My Maps, and you can easily travel with Google Maps, and it will store in automatically Google Drive. For example, you can see that Kerala trips and something whatever. Just now we create one map, STEM 4.0. It will store in Google Drive, so it doesn't need an additional storage or something like that. I hope you enjoying this session. Thank you for all, and my special thank to Dr. Jyotish Kumar sir for giving me this great opportunity. Thank you for all your presence. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Divesh, for your smart presentation on Google Mapping. I think the demonstration you gave on Google Mapping will definitely help for the students to enrich their career. In future, you can also make some presentation on Google Earth and differentiate both. So thank you for your presentation. Let now I invite Ms. Subiksha to talk about the topic name ethical hacking and share his presentation. Subiksha, you can share your presentation.
It gives an immense pleasure to welcome you all to Technical Fest 4.0 on the topic of ethical hacking. So, we are going to see a brief introduction to ethical hacking, types of hackers, a demo on brute force attack on password, and how to strengthen our password from such attacks. Hello everyone, I'm R. Subiksha, representing the Department of Information Technology from Varuna Engineering College, Thiruvannamalai. Here comes our topic, ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is a technique used in business organizations and firms to protect IT assets. Mainly, it is used for exploiting vulnerabilities to secure the firm. As I mentioned here, hacker get unauthorized access. On the other hand, ethical hacker has an official permission to access the security posture of a target system. Hacking is not a topic that can be easily defined with single definition. It's a field. There are hundreds of different types of hackers in this field. The type of hacker is defined with his or her style of hacking and their intention. Here, there are some types of hackers, a bit of terminology we can say. White hat hacker, he or she may be an ethical hacker. Black hat hacker, a classical hacker gets unauthorized access. Grey hat hacker, a person who gets unauthorized access but reveals the weakness to the company. Script kiddie, a person who with no technical skills but just use pre-made tools. Activist, a person who hacks for some idea and leaves some messages. For example, strike against copyright. Brute force attack. Brute force attack is one of the most common and one of the most simple password cracking techniques that we can learn. It is an exhaustive search technique. This means that the computer tries every possible combination until one of them is right. As we see here, it is a trial and error method. A brute force attack refers to manually running all possible combinations on a system in order to crack its password. These attacks are done by brute force, meaning they are excessive, forceful attempts to try and force their way into private account. It is an old method, but it's still effective and popular with hackers. What do hackers gain in brute force attacks? Profiting from ads or collecting activity data, stealing personal data and valuables, spreading malware to cause disruptions, hijacking your computer for malicious activity, ruining a website's reputations. Here, I mentioned that some of the types of brute force attacks, like simple brute force attacks, dictionary attacks, hybrid brute force attacks, reverse brute force attacks, and credential stuffing. Let us see a live demo for brute force attack on passwords. In this, we are going to use the application called Burp Suite. Well, as we see about Burp Suite, it acts as a proxy interceptor between our computer and the internet. Here, this is our system. From our system, the packets will be sent to the internet, and then those packets will be sent to the Google server, and then the Google server again return the packets to the internet, and that packets will be sent to our system. In this way, we can get search information. If you search for google.com, these packets will be sent to internet and to the Google server, and the page will be sent to the internet, and the page from internet we get the page in our screen. In this middle, we can able to send any number of packets. While using Burp Suite, we just stop this package and make some changes in the packet which we are going to send. There is another application called Wireshark for capturing packets. In case of Wireshark, we can able to see what packets are moving here and there. Wireshark acts like a CCTV camera. It can't be prevented from time and it never stop an attack. But in case of Burp Suite, we can stop an attack. That's why we use this. In order to work with Burp Suite, we have to do two things. The first thing, we have to configure the Firefox manual proxy settings, and second, to install certificate to trust the Burp Suite. In Firefox, go to options and then from there to network settings. In network settings, change to manual proxy configuration and use the proxy setting IP address as 127.0.0.1 and port number 8080. Actually, Burp Suite runs on proxy IP setting of 127.0.0.1 and the port number of 8080, and also use this proxy for FTP and HTTPS, and then click OK. So now our first step has been completed. Then we have to install certificate in order to trust the Burp Suite. The CA certificate is needed to prove that identity of the software. This certificate will act as key browser between the browser and Burp Suite in order to maintain a balance between them regarding sending of packets. Sorry guys, 1 minute. See here, there is CA certificate. We have to download it from here. Actually, I have already attached my certificate to this. So let's go to Burp Suite. Burp Suite can do many of the functions like proxy, interruption, intruder, repeater, sequencer, decoder, comparer, extender, and so on. But today we are going to work on proxy and intruder. Burp Suite is like a check post. When the intercept is on, it will intercept all the packets and all the traffic will be forwarded to the Burp Suite. When it is off, it will allow all the packets to flow. It will not intercept or it will not stop the packets. Actually, we have to get this certificate in order to work with HTTP servers. Now I'm going to use an HTTP website. Okay, we can now going to sign up page. For that, we are going to make our intercept on. See here, while I'm clicking the sign up page, it moved to the Burp Suite page. Since we have make our intercept on, the packet is sent to the Burp Suite. If I say forward or drop it, it will send to the internet. Otherwise, it will be here itself. Now I'm going to drop this one. So if I drop it, the request was dropped by the user. So again, I have to reload the page. Now my intercept, I keep my intercept on. Now sign up. Again the request is there. going to forward it. This is an HTTP site. In order to access HTTPS website, we need to download the CA certificate. Now let's log in into this page. See here, the username is test and the password is test. Now I'm going to type this one. Password. My interceptor is on. I'm going to click on login button. The packet is into Burp Suite. See here, we can able to see our password. The username is test, and I gave password as Subiksha, so the password is seen here. While using Burp Suite, we can able to see our username and password here. It is mainly helpful for us. We can check our password is right or wrong without actually logging into the website using Burp Suite. We can helpful in many ways, like rather than giving 10 wrong passwords here, we can able to use Burp Suite and then let the Burp Suite test 10 passwords and see what happens. Now we are going to make an attack. So right click on this page and send to intruder. Here, in intruder, the target is test.php.vulnerableweb.com. It's fine. Then move to positions. In position, see here, the dollar symbol is for two fields, but we have to going to attack only the passwords. So I'm going to clear this one. Clear. I want only password. So make it as highlight one and add. Now the password field has been highlighted. In attack type, if it is only one target, in my case, I'm going to attack only passwords. So I use sniper. If you are going to attack username as well as password, then you have to use cluster bomb. Now I'm using sniper for password. It's a single target. Then move to payload. Payload, make it as default. That's not an issue. In payload options, we can add manually or we can add the word list which we have had already created. Now we can add manually here. Like be at 1, 2, 3. Add. Subiksha. Add. Test at 1, 2, 3. And Harunai TV and STEM M4.0. And then admin 1, 2, 3. And also add the actual password. As we know here, the actual password is test. Test at 1, 2, 3. Okay, fine. Now we have to keep our intercept off. After keeping our intercept off, click on Start Attack button and click OK. You can see here the passwords are being checked. Now it is testing with all the passwords we had given. The test completed. Now see the status. This is HTTP status code. See the status code here. Actually, if the status code in 200 series, 200 series means it is success. If the HTTP code in 300 series. 300 series means it has been redirected. Redirection occurs. That means the page is moved from one page to another if the status code is in 400 series. That means client-side error. If it is in 500 series, it is server-side error. As we all come across the 404 error, it's a client-side error. Now, in this case, we are going to face this too. That is 200 series error and 300 series error. Success and redirection occurs. See here, the status code is 302. The 302 is just the page is got redirected. We have how to find the correct password means we have the status code of 200. 200 means success, so it is the correct password for this website. In some cases it shows 200 in many payloads. In those cases, look at the length of the password. It is either low or high. Mostly the correct password will have which is very high or low length. Here 6,195 this is the highest length, so it is definitely be the password of this website. In order to check it, just click on it and move to response. Right click on this and show response in browser. Copy this URL and move to browser. Paste and go. See, it has been logged into our website. This is a basic password brute force attack. Actually, this is not a crime. We're just conducting a test on the website. Technically, we can call it as penetration testing. Okay, Bubshoot has its pros and cons. The positive side is rather than they have both positive and negative sides. The positive side is rather than giving 10 wrong passwords in the login page, we can use Bubshoot and then let the Bubshoot test the 10 passwords. The negative side is the attackers can also use the same technique to crack our passwords from a basic word list. So we have recommended to use a strong password. We must enable the two-factor authentication. Yeah, these are some of these steps in order to protect our passwords. Use an advanced username and password. Remove any unused accounts with high-level permissions. Passive backend protections for passwords like high encryption rates, salt the hash, two-factor authentication. Limit number of login re-entries, account lockdown after excessive login attempts. Active ID support protection for passwords. And how to strengthen our password from such attacks. Longer passwords with varied character types, elaborate passphrases, create tools for building your passwords, stay away from frequently used passwords. Use unique passwords for every site you use a password manager. The main thing is to stay away from frequently used passwords and use unique passwords for every site you use. So if you guys want to check whether you are vulnerable to hackers or not, do check in the website called Have I Been Pwned. Have I Been Pwned? Enter your mail address here. It's running. Oh, say good news. It's a good news. My mail ID is not breached in any of the websites. Let me try another one. No, it's breached. Him dub smash. If it is breached, don't worry about this. Just change your password immediately and enable two-factor authentication, and never use that password in upcoming days. I heartily thank my parents, well-wishers, and friends for constantly supporting my career development. I also thank the head of the department and staff members for this valuable guidance and constant encouragement. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Subiksha, for your crispy presentation on ethical hacking and demonstration on brute force attack and its challenges. Thank you all for your kind cooperation to make this program to be a success. Shortly, we will join on the next session, which named as STEM 5.0, coming soon. Thank you all.